Full court press. Niggas be frontin', but they know the vibes. Fresh fit, reek a pip, so you know I'm hot. Shot a vodka to the face like a Russian guy. You be speeding, why you rushing, guy? Shorty wanna love me, but I just wanted nothing slide. Get money, stay free, get fleeing high. Don't get yourself burnt over me and mine. It's always some crooked shit that'll get you lined. They want validation from lemons that ain't on shit. You know me, 10 toes down, I ain't gon' trick. Shit is intense, play on shit. I'm in the game while you bum niggas play on the bench. Matter of fact, you ain't even get in the gym. When they hear Spoke, they listen to him. Yeah, man, this shit is a win. Let's get it. This the tip off. It's game time, watch a nigga get his shit off. Getting busy, that's the type of shit I've been on. I do this shit by my lonely, these niggas can't hold me. This the tip off. It's game time, watch a nigga get his shit off. Getting busy is the type of shit I've been on. I do this shit by my lonely, these niggas can't hold me. These niggas catching feelings. I catch wreck when record gets pressed. Step to the mic and get off the stress. They bars sloppy and they flows a mess. I switch it up from 2-3 to the full court press. I'm here. It's my time. I shine like the sun do. If you ain't with me, then it's fuck you. Show respect or get disrespected. This shit is like a circus. The blind leading the blind. Bunch of no names and know-it-alls that don't know shit. Most of them be on some hoe shit. I be on my out the way, on the low shit. Man on the horse left side, that's that low shit. Trophy rap, this that glorious feel. At the same time, give you the chills. Shit real. You niggas think you chill cause you pop pills and sip lean. Y'all niggas give me fiend vibe. Right, this the tip off. It's game time, watch a nigga get his shit off. Getting busy, that's the type of shit I've been on. I do this shit by my lonely, these niggas can't hold me. This the tip off. It's game time, watch a nigga get his shit off. Getting busy is the type of shit I've been on. I do this shit by my lonely, these niggas can't hold me.
The hip-hop writer is a creator, composing understanding words of cultured brilliance, powering a rebalance of the elements equally. Pages of rejuvenated reaffirmation, simply the almighty leadership of insightful craft work that stands to build through any confrontation born to be. Yet his daily duty is as a journalist that questions properly and uses his ears to filter the real. And as the art decays by dilution, he concentrates the best again and again, exposing it in the print. Today's journalist and tomorrow's historian, he listens to share. Here is that necessary attempt executed again and again and again. This is the Power Right Show on S.STREET Media. This is your brother, the lone low life with the home-sewn garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God, stepping in score, Sunez Allah, a.k.a. Skillustrator Low. And we're on S.STREET Media, the evolution of media, where every intrigue will have its own show, every incredible thought will have its own episode, and every timeless insight will be archived. And as I said, this is about my element of hip-hop, what I like to call the writer of art on art and science on music, the only show in history on this hip-hop writer element that I, a veteran of over 20, man, it's going to be 25 years in a little bit, years, I helped pioneer. So I always like to start with how you can best finance me. And we start there. I got a book out called The Filtered Real, Essays from the Invisible Renaissance, and this is the last show of this decade. This is the last show of this decade, so this could be the end of the invisible renaissance. In other words, I'm going to have to call it something else, depending on how I evaluate people. For those that don't know, this hip-hop writer element that I helped pioneer has to have a facet besides just giving a science on music. It has to have a creative element. That was what was missing when I was writing all the way back in 1994. And in 1995, I penned a piece back in the CUNY Baruch College newspaper. That's where I was. I didn't know I was surrounded by every single major magazine and label around me when I was and I just wanted to write about hip-hop music. I didn't know half of the things I know now. I had a small album collection. I just liked hip-hop. And I had to do something extracurricular, right? My old earth, my mother, Remembered Imperfection, that beautiful woman, was telling me to get off my ass and do something. And I decided to write about what I love or what I thought I knew. But after a while, I was like, yo, we're just writing about people, writing about things. I have to do something to make it a piece on its own. And that's when I started to write something and add my own poetic prose to it. But in all the years, in all the magazines that I've been at, all the magazines that I got through because I was there, Vibe, Double XL, The Source, and all of those in between, they never gave me that space to really explore the pen, you know? They never gave me that time. And it's only in this decade where I got in through the golden age, what we all accept as that golden age, the 90s of recorded music, and into what I call the 2000s, what I call the dark ages. It's absolutely the dark ages. Some of the worst music you'll ever hear in the 2000s. The actual blueprint of what a pop rap record sounds like comes from the 2000s. It don't come from all these Molly kids with colorful hair. The blueprint comes from the 2000s. You know what I mean? And I've talked about this on many shows. I talk about it through this book, and it'll be in other books where I specifically talk about it. That dilution of the sound, you know, less bass, no filtered drums, more treble, you know what I mean? More wild-out choruses, less real bars, you know what I mean? And a litany of artists, though. On our show today, we have a up-and-coming artist that I think is already dope, and I don't want to associate him with anybody that's whack, so I'm not going to give you any examples today. But as we close out this decade, the Essays from the Invisible Renaissance is really a collection of basically what I saw as a turning point year that defines the year, that defines the decade. So 2018 necessarily wasn't the best year in this decade of music, but it holds all of the trends of what this decade became. Massive amount of releases, massive amount of artists, a litany of crime rhyme MCs, hustler MCs that are actually lyrical, that actually have something to say. All of these trends. And I use the work of 2018 primarily to define and describe all of these great artists. And it has certain lists who I think are be the future of this invisible renaissance. And I know I've left out some. You know, I tried to fit in everybody I could remember. I really went through the files. And some of the major pieces that I wrote that I think define what this era was about. And it's filled with those art and art poetic prose thrown into the pieces that I write. And obviously the science of music, giving you detail, not telling you this is a hot beat, that's a smoking beat, that's a dope beat. That's not descriptions, okay? That's a press piece, you know what I mean? Those are kids talking about music, you know what I mean? But this is grown man's music, you know what I mean? And I always like to continue the show. Before I tell you how you get to get this, I like to, share an art and art piece, what I call an art and art piece that is part of a larger piece. And this piece, I'm not going to read to you, is in the book. It's dispersed throughout the piece that I wrote about August Green's album, and in that piece I was able to speak about Common, a lot of his career, and also what led up to the diversity that he's had, And I just call this piece All Heart. That's what I call it. And it goes like this. His fucking mind was dressed trans-real. Love and loyalty were really for the other. A hustler who wins, respect fickle as the swoosh. Hiking concrete with foam posits frothing by the socks. All his work is ready to pitch disease. How? It's like all he read were sour dreams of blundered branding. But this sun is shining, an equalizing zigzag zigging equestrian with a swinging hammer. Really the machete or some kind of percussive knives butterflying. Burning bridges, cause he'll swim you 9,000 miles arrogantly, but always mightily. His fight would be a contradiction like being the blackest of the black brothers, a yellow seed of brown people. Idealistic saviors from the poetry society that talk bad about the English. A more Fidelian alpha, supply and demand our understanding to their knowledge. The cake and bricks are for man-tanning parties of gore and building bricks for crass spouses. He thee wed and them re-up till. So we over here. We're gonna pay our own reparations with students flooding abroad. Our common competition will be the last line written, and bitten is the past participle of the bearing of our principle. Climb 2 L's, a better ladder to prosperity. Creators create creation like a linoleum cosmos, lit by a back-spinning sun. My clothing is still common, from an old Bronx designer circa 1967. Never hiding the realness, never respect fake broadcasting. I tell you, no use to one's heart if it stays buried in the chest. And that was a piece from that August Green album, Art and Heart, Science on Music Review. That's in the Filtered Reel. And again, if you want some information on how to get the book, you want to read the book, DM me on my IG. It's Sunez, S-U-N-E-Z. Sunez97 at Gmail is the email for any inquiries and stuff. And check that out, though. You know, pay me all that you want, though. All right, you could pay me 20% of your income. That'll be fine. But yo, let's get on to. I always like to get to a small addendum so that way we can connect the shows that I've had. The last show, the 63rd show, I started to give a rundown of what I consider the reel of 2019. It was scattershot. I was going through MCs, and it was scattershot. Really, I was thinking about it because my mind was on my big brother, Freedom Allah, Papa Wu, you know, and I'm working on a piece that will really honor him and include some of the other stuff that I've written on him through the years, and just give you more of a perspective that I gave you on that last episode of what he was about, and look forward to that. And as the next episodes in the new year come along, I'll be going through my reel of 19, and there'll be, as I said, not just like a list of this is the best, this is the next, you get this one. There's too much music, so I want to couple it up into groupings of quality, and so you know what you're getting. Because we don't buy music like that. We don't go, this is going to be the hottest thing ever, and then you buy it. I mean, that's how they buy it on Twitter, right? This is going to be the greatest album ever, and then they buy the shit. That's not how you buy music. You buy music based on, I want this vibe right now, and this is what he's coming with. He has this vibe, that's what he's coming with. He's this type of lyricist, I want to get that. And I'll have that grouping. But I'm also going to do kind of like an all-decade list, you know, of essential MCs that is in this book, and albums that you should have. I'm not going to list them best to worst, though, because they're so diverse, but albums that I think you should have if you're a collector going back into the 2010s. And I'm also going to go into like the overall importance of the decade. So look forward to all of that. Also, you know, when you get those Facebook challenges, like your favorite hip-hop albums that you ever heard, that really inspired you, or your favorite books that inspire you, I have a whole list of books that I give out to my students, and a beginner book list that goes to my students of how they should begin and when they're dealing with nostalgia self and how they go about it, and broke it down by subject. But I'll be going through like books that inspire me, books I think you should have, and I'll be naming one every episode. So that way I don't have to do it on Facebook and waste time, because I don't like doing all that Facebook shit, you know? But, and I'll be doing it for hip hop too, because the point about music journalism is to give an appreciation of the music that was really quality and why, not just to label who's the king, who's the best and all that, and also to depreciate, to find those who are falsely gaining and masquerading in this, and depreciate them back to size with real reasons. You know what I mean? The earth, wind, and fire, the reasons that they're here. But with that said, we're gonna go to break. We're listening to my guest. I'm gonna officially introduce him after we get on the air. And you know, it's a real joy to really get into the cap off this decade by really getting into an artist who's on the come up, because that's what I focused on this whole decade. I could have focused on going into the best of and finding, you know, the greats and things like that, but it's like it's always been about that next guy, you know what I mean? And certain people are always with that. And let's go to one of his songs. Actually, this one I think is probably my favorite record on the album, if I had to choose. And let's check that out. And we'll be back with my guest. Peace.
Shit different on some spooky shit. Motion picture on some movie shit. I'm here now and I'm not playing. I hope these niggas hear what I'm saying. Tap. Wavy, what up, nigga? What up? Let's get it. I got some shit on the stove, frying pans and some pots. I be whipping up and frying shit. Nigga, I'm hot, I'm cooking. They hating, but looking. I see y'all over here, shit get darker than PM. Hear me? They know my body, I don't play, I really rap. My track sheets a marathon, I've been running laps. These lines, I run through them like a running back. I'm so hot in the winter, I bring the summer back. When it come to this shit, I'm ready, willing, and able. And if it's beef, niggas will spin your block like a dreidel. I could do this in my sleep. I'm the nigga who be cool and the rest of my niggas moving in the streets or locked up or dead. R.I.P. the Bosco. I came home and got on it pronto. I smoked the pussy like it's Fronto. And the head was so dumb, you would've thought she was blonde. Guard your energy, cause these niggas are snake. Why can't judge a book by its cover, don't let them mistake you. Don't let them niggas fool you. I be out the way, I be out the way. Cause I ain't come to play, I ain't come to play. This shit different on some spooky shit. Motion picture on some movie shit. I'm here now and I'm not playing. I hope these niggas hear what I'm saying. This shit different on some spooky shit. Motion picture on some movie shit. I'm here now and I'm not playing. I hope these niggas hear what I'm saying. Lock in and get locked out. That's it. We was on the block as youngins while the cops out. My niggas was getting money dishing them rocks out. I was cool and being a dog digging them dots out. A different breed, shit another claw. And they be chatting like they rapping, but I don't hear it. Knock it off. Fuck the chitter chat, I'm here to rap. You can ask about me, boy, I ain't here to cap. Every chick they know I put heat to beats. I be walking on these tracks like feet to streets. Free my nigga Ty. Feds bumped him, but he still fighting. Shit, he hit me on the jack all the time. Like he spitting that pain. I told my nigga I got him. Cause when it come to this shit, it was never a problem. Never. The temperature different now. I got the momentum now. Niggas so believe that it's going down. Shit, this shit different on some spooky shit. Motion picture on some movie shit. I'm here now and I'm not playing. I hope these niggas hear what I'm saying. This shit different on some spooky shit. Motion picture on some movie shit. I'm here now and I'm not playing. I hope these niggas hear what I'm saying.
All right. We are back on the Power Right Show. This is your host, Sunyez Allah, a.k.a. S.STREET Low. Got to give a quick shout out to Raz Fresco, man. Peace of God, Knowledge 120. He's trying to get in contact with me so we could build, but we're here. We're here. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? This is what we're doing. So we still building in a different way, you know? And my guest, man, I've had my guest work for a couple of months now, you know? And I say this all the time, you know? I say this all the time. I get a lot of music and I collect a lot of music, but I always have my ear to certain individuals. And throughout my career, the greatest, I don't say A&R men, scouts, they call them scouts, to find the talent that I'm like, okay, yeah, they're right. Oh, I trust them. All right, you know, just keep them on the back burner. I gotta go listen to them. If I just have a name, it's always been certain MCs. And it's always been the selfless MCs that are willing to share people's work. And, you know, not just the MC that shares their own work. You know what I mean? And that's okay if they just share their stuff. But some of them, they're willing to share everybody's work that they think is dope and talk about them. And I remember it was really a couple of months ago. It was Rim, who I don't know what I said on the Twitter. And he was like, oh, yeah, you got to check out. And he was like, Bub Rock, Eddie Kane, you know, and then he said my guest, and I was like, okay, I keep it on the back burner, and I was like, oh, and I looked and I said, oh, I already have this star, I just haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I had heard something about it, and my guest out from Long Island, though, hardcore hip hop to the fullest. Brother Spoda is here with us, man. You know what I mean? Where's his mic? We need his mic. You know what I mean? And let's get his mic up so we could build. But Spoda has one of the iller debuts out today. You know what I mean? I want to thank you for coming on the show, Spoda.
We in here.
You know, I think that your work is like the epitome of what I think of as like precociousness. Like it's just about to reach over into a peak.
Yeah.
You know, when I heard the works that you have, which include the debut album, you know, Full Court Press, I was like, it's a work that I could see all of the ideas that you're about to hit us with.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I call it though. Let me just describe this for the audience though. When I heard his album Full Court Press, and you can pause here, open up a little window on your browser and go to Spoda, SPODA 1.bandcamp.com. You know what I mean? Take acquaint yourself. You know what I mean? And then come back. I saw Full Court Press. The immediate things I saw was like a declarative battle bar hustler LP. Like, this is the announcement record. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is my persona.
Fact.
And with that guidance, though, because I'm big on Wavy the God as a producer.
Shout out Wavy too.
Word. And the guidance of that great soul sampling, diverse drum sequencings, all through, what do we hear though? A powerful, intense delivery, complete clarity, enunciation, clever similes, and what I love to hear, a definitive persona, someone that has, what he's about though, integrity on the mic, you know what I mean? And it just rooted all of the tracks into basically being anthemic, what I like to call anthemic, there was anthem after anthem, it was definitely that bench press music, you know what I mean? And I know, because I was working out with this shit all week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going in with this all week.
That's love.
Because that's how I test it. I got to hear it loud. I got to write to it, write stuff in my journal, but then I got to work out with it. I got to do everything with it.
It's crazy you say that. I mean to cut you off, because it's like when you say you got to, like, I record a lot of my shit, and then it's like I won't even really listen back a lot of times. But when I do, I got to be in the car so I can hear how everything came out as far as the engineering, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I see what you're talking about. When you hear it in your headphones, you be like, all right. But when you hear it out loud in front of you with no headphones, it's just like on a system, you could really hear everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely. And your voice punches through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, they first off, their flows get usually botched up with soul sampling. You know what I mean? That's a fact. You know what I mean? I could literally, if I envision it, I feel people stumbling down the stairs when they rhyme off soul samples.
Yeah.
And then other people, they get drowned out by the actual soul sampling, like the actual vocals of the soul sample. And I had no problem. It's very rare. Like, it was really like 100%. There wasn't a bar that I was going back to because I didn't hear it. It was going back because I was like, whoa, what the hell did he just say there?
Yeah.
But it wasn't because I didn't hear it. You know what I mean? And these are things that I look for, like with a debut artist and stuff. And like, he's got the makings. I need to build with him and let the people know his story. So let's start out with the beginning here, because I always like to go. Let's get into your superhero origins. Spoda, I just told the audience you're from Long Island, but tell us everything. Like how you got into hip hop, how was it in your life, and how it became an MC.
It's crazy though, cause like I never really planned to do it. Like, it was nothing that I said, all right, I'm going to start rapping. I'm going to be a rapper. I was coming up with some of my younger mans, my man Floyd, shout out to Floyd, his older brother Quincy, and my other mans, Troy, and a couple of my older men. They like 4 or 5 years older than me type shit. And they was already rapping. You know what I'm saying? They was already rapping.
And what age were you like at this time?
I was probably like, when I knew they was rapping, I probably was like 13, 14.
Okay.
So they was probably like 18, you know what I'm saying, 17, 18, 19 type shit. Like, so they already was into the music shit, like rapping and all that. I didn't really know nothing about it, but I was always a music head. I always listened to all kind of genres, not even just hip hop. Because, you know what I'm saying, my mom, I was raised on, you know what I'm saying, Kiss FM when it was You got to get up every Sunday morning. You cleaning the house. You hearing old school. So I was really raised on that type
A lot
of
of
music.
soul music, a lot of funk, yeah.
But I also always listen to hip hop all the time. You know what I'm saying? Nas, Hove, OGC, Helter Skelter, like I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 35. So I came up on a lot of that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. I heard my man Floyd Brothers and them rhyming one day, and I used to go to my man's crib all the time, and they used to be rapping, whatever. And I'd be listening like, oh shit, like they rap. Like it's crazy. It's my man's, like they rap. I listen to rap, but they like physically
They're
actually
actually
do
rapping,
it.
yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing them, I'm like, it look easy. Cause it looked cool from the outside looking in. It looked cool, like it looked easy.
Right.
Cause they just rapping, they spitting. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I still never took it serious. You know what I'm saying? And then one day I was over there with them. They was like, that's when niggas had the cassette tapes. You put the paper in the top, you record it like
Right.
that.
So you could keep
That's
recording
how you
over it.
make
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Your
yeah.
tapes or whatever, your original
Right.
mixtapes. So they was doing that, and I'm like, all right. I just started trying to fake rap one day, and then I started trying to write on my own, not even around them. This is like a couple days later, I went home trying to write whatever. I come back to them like a week later, a couple weeks later. I'm like, yo, I got some shit for y'all. I want y'all to hear it. They like, oh, word, oh, so you got some? I'm like, yeah, I got some shit for y'all to hear. I spit it. I never forget it. It was to the Snoop Dogg and Eastsiders beat. I forget the name of the song, but that was the instrumental. That's when you could go get the CD. It was the single, and it was the instrumental on the B-side.
Right. Yeah.
Record Town, all that. So I get it. It was me and my little brother. Shout out my little brother Ty. Shout out Grimy, aka Fat Boy Eric. We had our fake little group with that when we were young. We go back to my man Floyd crib. We spit for his older brothers and the older mans. We put the beat on. No lie. Like, not even 30 seconds into the song, this shit whack. Like, yo, what are y'all doing? This song is like, what y'all doing? They laughing at us. So I don't know nothing about music. So I'm looking at it like, damn, these my older man. They trying to play me. Like, so I feel away. I'm like, yeah, nigga, this shit is whack, little nigga. All right, whatever. I spin off. I go back home. I'm sitting in my room like, this is crazy. Like, this nigga said I was whack.
In your mind, you thought you was
embarrassed. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that shit was really that whack. Like, and at that time, I wasn't really on it like that. So I would just write it and spit it. I didn't really know like write it, spit it, and really keep reciting it to see if I'm really talking about something because I'm young. So I'm like, man, I go back, whatever. I'm like, all right. No lie, probably like a week after that, I get a collective of instrumentals at the time. I lock myself in a room and I just start working on writing to instrumentals. Just start writing. And then after that, I just started getting everything together, making everything make sense, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and my pen game started getting sharper. And then when I came back to them like a couple months later, spit something a couple months later.
So
like,
what was it though? Like you just had to keep writing? What was it that got you to be better? You just
I
had to,
feel like to me,
did you practice these by yourself?
Yeah,
Like you had to practice
I had
them?
to, on my own. Nobody knew nothing except for me, my little brother, and Grimy E. We was the only ones who knew about that situation when they laughed at us, dubbed that shit like, nah, this shit whack. Like, go home. But, you know what I'm saying? We didn't. Around then, there was really no social media like that, so nobody really would have known nothing, you know what I'm saying? So, after that, I'm just thinking to myself. Now it's like a conscious thing. I'm like, damn, these my older mans. Like, they looking at me like, nah, this is whack. I'm going to them. I thought at least fake show me love and try to embrace me. They gave me stone cold love. Like, nah, this is whack. We not trying to hear this. You want to rap? Like, you see what we doing. You better get your shit up. I'm like, all right, I go home. I'm like, damn, these niggas really dubbed me. And then I just was on. After that, I told myself, like, I don't want ever. I know it probably happened, but I'm like, as far as I can help it, I don't want nobody ever tell me I'm whack. You know what I'm saying? Or like, it's a flaw with me. Not saying I'm perfect with it, but anything negative. Because when I was younger, I was always like, I don't like negativity. So that would really, not knowing that's constructive criticism at the end of the day. But I was young, so I didn't really know no better. I'm looking at it like, damn, they hating on me, or I'm really that whack. Like, now it's a conscious thing, but.
Well, let me ask you, because you were telling a story and you were also saying like they was calling you Spoda. How did you get the name Spoda? Because no one has a name even close to this, so it's not usually how we think of pronouncing it.
It's crazy. So boom, shout out to Diger, Corporal Hiders. Originally started off as One Guy Barbershop. That was like the hood barbershop in my hood.
Right.
They Shore, Southside, whatever. And probably like 5th, 6th grade, I used to always get my hair cut there forever, me and my little brother. So I go there, I get a sweeper job. It's a sweeper.
Okay.
Now I'm like the sweeper, cleaning up, getting my little couple. That's like my little job. I'm in school. I got a little job
Right. You get a little money with that.
Yeah. So they all how the barbershops in the hood. Everybody jokes this, whatever. So I'm working, I'm sweeping. They like, yo, I didn't even have a name at that time. It was just my regular name, Ronnie. That was like my family name. So
Right.
So they like, yo, his name's Spoda. So they said it. I'm like, what? Like, they like Spoda. Cause this is after like a couple months of me working there. They watching me work, whatever. Cause I was young, so I ain't really catch on a lot of shit. I was like the errand boy also. So they like, yo, we need you to go to the store. You supposed to do this. Instead of saying supposed to, you supposed to do this. So I was like the errand boy. So it was Spoda. So then my name was Spoda. They gave me that name, Spoda. So I had that name since like 98, 99, right as I was coming into high school. Out of like 8th grade into 9th grade. And I just had that name forever. And I just kept it as like a rap name, Spoda. Like,
So you're supposed to do...
because they basically be like, he never do what he's supposed to do. So they just kept
hilarious.
that. You know what I'm saying? They just kept that. And I had that name forever.
And now you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Forever,
Yeah,
right?
now you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Was
Yeah.
born. And everybody that asks me that, they start dying laughing when I tell the story. But
Yo, that's the
real
dopest
talk.
story of a name, man. Origin.
Shout out to Dahlia Coco original one guy, Bay Sure. Word.
All right, now I'm gonna do a little backwards because you released this after, you know what I'm saying? But these are from older songs. The Lucy Smoke, I noticed that they've been older songs, freestyles that you were doing.
Remember, I was telling you that.
You know?
Yeah.
And,
I just felt like
man.
I ain't gonna front. Shout out to my man Gabe. He gave me the idea. This was like last year, like, cause like I don't never like to glorify it, but in the 2016 I got locked up, and I was locked up. I did like a little over a year, so I came home like the top of 2018, not 17. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean 18. I missed the whole 2017. So I came on a rant, like I had to get, like Bub said, shout out to my man Bub Rock. I basically had to get the monkey off my back. So I came home, and shout out to my man S.O. Corner Boys. I came home, I was effed up. He gave me enough money for a 3-hour session. At the time, I wasn't even living out here. I was out of state when I came home. I went to the studio, and if it wasn't for him, I felt like it would have never skyrocketed like that, because I was fucked up.
Let me pause you there. From that time where you started to get good and stuff, and then even the time you get locked up and stuff, when did you start considering stuff like, yo, this is what I love to do?
Oh, I always felt like that, but when I got locked up, because you don't really have nothing. You have all the time in the world. You don't have no time in the world. Like, you just have all of your peace time to do whatever. And I always was rapping, but I felt like when I was locked up, because I ain't gonna front, at that point in my life, I was speeding. It was a lot of shit going on with me. So I was really bouncing around. I really had no control. I'm partying every night. Like, so when I got locked up, I was able, like, my man Holla, shout out to Jay Holla, he told me, and I spoke to him on the phone, he's like, yo, it's fucked up that you locked up, but it's also a good thing because you was at a messed up point in your life, and God had to sit you down and like, yo, sit down, take a break real quick. Get yourself together. You wilding right now. Whatever you doing in the street, you got to sit down. You're bugging. So I was sitting down, and even then, like, I'm writing. That's when I really started really writing. I was always writing in the free world, but, bouncing around, you don't really have that time like that.
Sure.
So now I'm locked up. I'm writing. No instrumentals. I'm really just writing off instrumentals, industry instrumentals that I know in my head.
In your head, right.
Forever. That is always going to loop in my head so I could write.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Just writing mad shit.
Are some of those instrumentals the ones that ended up on Lucy's,
Facts.
like ones that you just loved in your head?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
And I ain't going to lie. Like, I'm still sitting on a lot of Lucy's now, like freestyles from jail that I didn't even put out. Like, some of them, when I wrote it to the beat, I'd be like, it could fit this beat, but some of them could fit regular original beats or other industry beats. But I'm not really. But I do got a lot of music from when I was locked up because all I had was time. I had nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? So it all worked out. But I used that to my advantage. So when I came home, I told myself, yo, Spoke, when you come home, you can't play around.
It seems for the brothers out there, I build with a lot of brothers that come out. They come to a law school. They come to build. They come to, start fresh, and they just out of jail and stuff. And it's, what I get out of your album though is also that focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The focus, the idea, the principles of sticking to oneself and self and stuff, and really developing self. And I feel like what you're telling me though, while you was locked up, you really utilized the time that you had to really focus on what you're gonna do when you get out, what you're gonna do while you're in there to be useful. You know, and I'm just making that known overtly, so the listener catches what I'm hearing here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From you, because it's important. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that like the best way to be a writer is often not just it's how much you write. It's not always how much you give out, but it's how much you write, because you got to write a lot before you get good. Perfect. But you also need that time to take it by yourself. You know, to write those things, to try those things, and I'm just saying this to the listener, you know what I mean? So you see, like, this takes a lot of work, you know what I mean? Like, all these things that we do, these products as you hear, this is years and years. And let me quickly segue that to an idea that I've always had, because to say that a whole decade is labeled as such, or a decade is labeled as this, it means it's a major theme. And there's a lot of reasons why I call certain decades that when I cover them. And one of the major reasons I call the dark ages, because at your age, there's a lot of potential you had in those 2000s that wasn't realized or people weren't looking for. And I know for a fact, labels were finally realizing that they don't need to look for talent. They need to look just for people that they can mold to do the type of songs that they want them to do. Because they finally understood rap more. So they understood what they don't want to be said, and they understood what they want to be said. You know what I mean? They didn't get the lyrics before. When they start to get the lyrics, they're like, okay, I want this kind of guy. I need a good kid that's going to come here and do what we tell him to do, not some kid off the street that has ideas and could challenge things. Might not even show up to the studio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's justifications to dilute. But I just had a bill that I always toss this around to everybody, you know? And to those who were legends through the dark ages, like a Tragedy Gaddafi, or brothers that finally are coming up now, and they're very developed. And there's a lot of things in your MC arsenal that are developed. I feel like we're going to hear more detailed songs as we go along from you, Spoda. But there's a lot of techniques that you have that are really well developed, you know? And when I was building with Rome Streets on the last show, I also do DJ Toshi's Classic Storm Radio. And I don't even know if it was on. We talked so much on and off the air that I gotta listen again. I didn't listen to the show to see what came on, what actually got on. But we talked about it, and he was confirming that during the reason that a lot of MCs like him, their pen game is so strong in certain areas, is because nobody was checking for them in the 2000s. So they just made music, wrote. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this guy's dope. It's like, yo, you missed a lot of the practice. Whereas like back then, a guy could have much less potential than you have, and he would get signed, and maybe he'd grow with a lot of bad records, because they used to let you make a bad record because there's not that much hip hop. People will fiend. They'll buy these albums anyway if they're not that good. Whereas now, we got a lot of stuff to choose from. You better come correct, you know? And I see that a lot with you, Spoda, you know what I mean? And like that development. And now you come up and develop now. And when you hear the Lucy's and then you hear Full Court Press, you hear a big difference, you know?
I'm not gonna lie, I was just telling my man BR, and I was telling my little brother, like, shout out to Wavy too, cause I put out Full Court Press in like June 16th, I want to say. Don't quote me. I think it was like June 16th or June 6th or 16th. I know it's something with a 6, but I put it out. It was getting rave reviews. Like, to me, to this underground unit, I'm new, so it's like, oh shit, this is a whole different. This is not nothing local. This is like something that's really going on with niggas who's really getting busy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So once I really tapped in to see what this whole loop was about, I'm like, all right. But even still now, to this day that we talking right now, like, it's new people or people repetitively who've already heard the album who's like, yo, Full Court Press. Basically, I'm saying that to say, like, Full Court Press is still spinning, still rocking. I didn't think it was still going to be rocking as much as it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew it got shown love and all that, but, like, niggas, people still like, yo, we still, what I'm saying? We still spinning it. Or like it's new people who's tagging me and stuff on social media that I didn't like. It's my first time seeing that. I noticed they noticed my project.
Right, yeah. And you know what's great is that there's a whole bevy of up and coming artists that are all, I should consider certain people that are all shooting at a prime that I consider a prime where you've realized something exceptional that I think is in you.
Yeah.
So it's based on my judgment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that if I could name three people, I'd say you, I'd say Bub Rock, and I'd say Eddie Kane. You know, Bub Rock with Dreams,
Bub Kano, man.
Eddie Kane with Aruku.
Aruku.
These are albums that like, oh, okay, I could see the surface. This is like, you know, that player that he just hit like 39.
They
Next year he's
different.
gonna hit 60, but
Yeah.
these are 39 homers and holy shit, you know? And
Shout out to the Walker.
I hear that in there because one thing I loved about the full court press though, I just love the cadence that you have. You know what I mean? The way you declare certain bars, the way you stamp them. You kind of stamp your way through them. You know what I mean? It's all, I don't know. I don't know if you're punching something in the
I feel
studio,
like-
you're punching the wall when you're doing it. You know what I mean?
You know what's so
But it's
crazy?
got that fire. You know what I mean?
Not to cut you up, it's crazy that you say that about my aggressiveness because a lot of people tell me I give them that D Block, Styles P, like really like stop because of the aggressiveness and my energy. Like I'm saying, like it's so crazy because I never planned to rap like that. Like when I first started, I just started rapping like that. So I use that to my advantage because I feel like that's how I vent. Like you know, a lot of people call Meek Mill like, oh he yelling to the mic a lot, but if you listen to him, he's talking like he's talking pain. Like how you know just because he's screaming, that's his ways of expressing his pain. That's how he's expressing his pain. We done watched him on YouTube come up like he really was in the hood doing what he talking about at that time. So it's like, all right, so what he's yelling? But y'all still buying his records, y'all still streaming his records, y'all still a fan of his music. So it's like all that, I never let that faze me. But a lot of people, because like I said, my era was a lot of 90s. Boot Camp, Click, Helter Skelter, Locks when they first came out, DMX. So it's like Money, Power, Respect album, like that era when, like I said, when CDs was really out and you had to go buy them, and it's a B-side with instrumental and maybe another single, whatever. Like I came from that era, so when I do rhyme, I ain't gonna lie. I've had a lot of people tell me I give them that Locks, Jadakiss, Styles P vibe.
Yeah,
like,
I think so too because, you know, like one thing to be critical, those artists have made great records and it took them a long time to make the records that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas brothers like you could make them now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't have like, oh, you got to do this type of song. You know, you don't have to check boxes on this lane, that niche,
That's a
this,
fact.
that. You know, so the songs come out the way you just want them to come
want them
out.
to
You know
come
what I mean?
out.
Hey, this is what I feel like saying like that. And we get a raw energy. For me personally, I feel like there's more songwriting to come. But this is an album that really declares you, and I think every MC needs that declaration album where they just say, "Yo, this is me," amongst this whole group, and it doesn't hurt that you have so many brothers that go. And to me, I'll say this though, like one thing I love about Rim is that he follows the tradition that he was and the blessing that he was given by Sean Price.
Shout out,
You
Rim.
know, I consider Rim probably one of the greatest, you know.
And he's
one of the
very,
greatest
very
apprentices.
underrated by a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people.
He's one of the
And
greatest-
Rim gets
yeah.
busy.
And I say he's one of the greatest apprentices ever in history because no one has an apprentice where they fulfilled that.
Yeah.
And you say, it doesn't sound like a baby Sean Price. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
totally different. But Sean Price never let me write about him. He would always he would build about other things. And he would tell me, yo, write about him. And he put me on to Napoleon the Legend. And he put me on to, he said, write about Rim. You know, don't write about me. Everybody knows about me.
Yeah.
And that's what I always like to do anyway. That's what I wanted to do. And Rim does that all the time, though, because, you know, he doesn't have to put everybody else's music.
fact.
You know, he puts up people's music that he's not even on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's very rare. And to have these cosigns, people's going to listen to you. But the voice, the cadence, these are all that, you know, you have it, but they have to be developed.
Yeah.
And let's go into the full court press more, because, you know, I like to go into the albums. I really like to go into them in the details. How long did it take to make this album, Full Court Press?
I ain't gonna front. And shout out again to my brother Wavy. It took a little, not really a little second, because me and Wavy. The crazy part is, me and Wavy probably been fucking with each other as far as is us knowing each other and working with each other probably like it probably going like a year now. Matter of fact, it's no December. It's a year and a month. We started fucking with each other last year, November. That's when I first put out Homicide. That was the first song I put out with Wavy. And we put out like 2 Lucy's after that. And he was just sending me random beats. He like, yo, you get busy. And I got put on to him through Bub. You know what I'm saying? So like this shit is all like a food chain. You know what I'm saying? So he put me on a Wavy. We linked up. And he was
Where's Wavy from? Because I don't know where he's from.
Wavy, he's in Brooklyn, but he's from Florida.
Got you.
So you know what I'm saying? He wasn't up here that long before I started. You know what I'm saying? Before I got introduced to him, he was only here a couple months type shit.
Okay.
So we linked up, and it probably took us like I want to say probably like it could have been done if we would have really wanted to be thirsty and put it out, but it probably took us like a good 3 months. No. Probably like 3-4 months from once we first started getting the beats together for it, type shit.
Are these all the songs that you recorded in that process, or like some of them were left out?
We had other songs that we used as Lucy's that didn't make the album, but that was because we chose to use them as Lucy's, just to, you know what I'm saying, keep our names in the loop. So when we drop the album, they know, okay, this is.
So what's the process when you go in the studio? Like you're getting a whole bunch of beats from him, and you just select. And you write on the spot, or you?
No. I write before I go to the studio.
Interesting. And so you got to find a beat to match, though. So, are there times where you altering the rhyme somewhat and fixing it up so it can fit the beat that you like, or?
I mean,
it's got to be a perfect match.
I mean, it might be as far as the hook, but as far as like the lyrics, nah, because I'll sit there and listen. I'll listen to the whole, not even me knowing that's gonna be our project. I'll listen to 10 beats and just vibe out for a little second before I write sometimes, because some beats might catch me off the rip. Like some beats might catch me off the rip. I instantly start writing because I get that vibe. Some beats I'm like, it's fire, but I feel like if I start writing too quick, I'm jumping the gun. Let me get the vibe, listen to everything, the snares, everything to see where I'm gonna go with it, and then I take it from there. Sometimes I ain't gonna front. I 1000%. I'll be at the crib smoking, drinking a little bit. I'll just be listening to beats, and I hear a beat that I've been listening to, and I just start, you know what I'm saying, constructing something. A lot of times, though, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of my best rhymes come from work. I'll be at work. It'll be certain beats I'll be having in my head, whether it's original, it'll be in my head looping. So while I'm working all day, I got that beat and I'm saying shit to myself.
And just jot some things down.
Every time I get a chance to dip into the bathroom, take a fake break, I'm typing in my phone. When I don't gotta help the ladies pack shit, I'm typing shit so I don't forget it. Cause it's like, all right, it's right there on the spot. Nigga, you gotta get this shit down. This shit is gonna sound like something. If you don't get it now, you're gonna get to the crib, try to recite it, and then you start smoking. Now it's over.
Quiet. Yeah, it's gotta be something else. Yeah.
Sit.
And you know, a little note about Wavy the God, like what I love about him is that I love soul sample MCs. I love the soul sample, you know, my brother Bronze Nazareth, everybody that does a soul sample to a high level. The thing about Wavy though is that he actually attaches really dope grooves on it. It's almost like he gives you grooves.
Exactly. He don't just give you a sample.
He's not just throwing
a beat.
Said break beat on top of soul sample. He's giving you a groove in it, so he kind of augments the groove in the sample, and that's really dope. You know what I mean?
He's making it make sense.
What happens is that he makes a hardcore song into a hook, because I'll be all week, because I've been hearing your record all week. I've been just and I'm humming hooks and shit, and then I'd be getting mad because I have a good soul collection. I'm like, yeah, well, where did he get that? You know what I mean? I'm still trying to figure out some of the shit he gave in Uruku.
But you know what's so crazy though? Like, no lie, and I don't even really be talking about this, but it's crazy because like a lot of the hooks from, like, not a lot, but some of the hooks from that project, this when I was staying in VA, like a year and a half ago. I'm in the Lyft or the Uber I'm driving, I got the car, I'm going to the studio. I'll have the verses, but I don't got no hook. I'm the type of nigga, if I'm going to the studio, I'm making sure I'm going there prepared, because I'm paying my bread. So I want to get every minute, every second that I could get out of my session to record and get the full product. I'm on my way to the stool, Word to my pops, I'm going to the studio. I'm like, damn, I got 2 verses, but I don't got a hook. Now I'm just, if I'm in the lift, I have the headphones. If I'm driving a car, I got it playing in the car. I'm listening to the beat. I'm making a hook up in my head as I'm going to the studio. Sometimes I get the writer's block on the way there. I can't do this. So now I just got to catch the vibe in the studio.
Right.
But I don't really like doing it like that. But sometimes it be
That's what happens.
crunch time.
Right, yeah.
This when pressure makes diamonds. You nigga, this what you do. Get busy.
Are you satisfied with the crunch time songs? Have you been?
I ain't
when you
gonna
think
lie.
back?
Like, and this is all me. This is the first in all of my interviews. Like, this is, yo, it's crazy because the crunch time, the pressure be crazy, but it also brings out the best sometimes. Not all the time.
Right.
I want to say like 80-85% for me personally, it bring out the best. Like, cause it's like, nigga, you know how you move. You know you pay. You go there to record what you pay for. So you know you not going, nigga. You not going there to. You not. Don't think you about to go pull up to the studio and write a hook. Make sure you got a hook by the time you get to the studio. This is what I'm saying to myself. I'm in a whip, whatever I'm doing. I'm writing a hook. By the grace of God, I just finish it, or as I'm pulling up to the studio, I just finish a hook. And it just be me in a moment. I try.
You know, some of your hooks are very natural, like the All Right Okay. They just kind of. You know, they go with the verses
that was
and
one of,
yeah.
You could see. That's how I know you listen. That was one of the hooks where it's like, don't try to think too hard, but you got a time limit. Like, nigga, you about to pull up to the studio. You already got 3 other songs you have to record, and you know.
Right. And it seemed natural. It didn't seem like, what's the damn hook? Yeah, just with the you know, like it really went good. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I want to throw out some of this stuff here. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these songs, I really loved it. And I said, this is a real hustler mentality battle bar record. You know what I mean? And it's for that energy. It's essentially, and it sounds cliche because of what Wavy the God was doing, but this is like a hip hop soul album, like a gritty soul album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, like it's like, you know, it's like David Ruffin if he was rapping. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a fact.
It just came off that way, you know. And I like some of the catchphrases you do. Like, I've been doing that all week though. Like when my daughter does something cool, I'll be like, "That's spooky." I've been saying that all week. Just trying it out. I'm trying it out.
Yeah.
You gotta let me try it out. I'm trying this shit out. You know what I mean? But like, there's such ideas, and I want to throw a deeper idea. Just throw it out to you because in my book and all these brothers I've been building with though, I call like a lot of the greatness coming out is I've lumped it just not to cliche them because I go into detail about each one, but I call it like the crime rhyme MCs. And we usually expect to hear like just cliche shit, but some of the most insightful things are coming from brothers that have lived some shit in the street. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not just like, hey, I got this pack, and you know, like that shit, but like real hard times, real, like what you do when you're broke, you know, all kind of stuff, you know, and coming up. And I thought about this with the All Right Okay song, you know, and it was one of my favorites. It had such a natural flow. And I was thinking, like, the way you've explained yourself, your persona, your nature, like the contrast between a hustler surviving through a subtlety of visibility. In other words, no one's going to see you. You're going to do your shit on the low. You're not going to put yourself out there like that. You know what I mean? Quiet as kept. And then I'm thinking, but then now you're an MC. And it's almost like you have to do the opposite. You have to show your face everywhere.
You have to
talk about the times you was quiet as kept. And like, how is that transition going? Because now it's too late because I'm going to do what I'm going to do where now everybody's going to know you who knows what I do. You know what I'm saying? And now it's almost like the opposite. You got to be out there. You know what I'm saying? And like, how does that contrast in the whole nature of you making and creating things, you know?
I mean, sometimes it do be like, I think about it like, all right, maybe am I keeping it too real? But then I also think about it like, all right, if anybody who fuck with me really fuck with me, they gonna, you know what I'm saying? They gonna, not just because it's me, but they'll listen to it and be like, all right, if they really know me or know enough about me to know about certain situations I'm talking about, they be like, all right, like he's really keeping it real. Like, I keep it as real as I can. It could be me going through something or something I went through, or it could be one of my mans. But you never gonna hear me talk about, oh, I shot and killed. That's not me.
Understood,
I'm not. That's
understood.
not
Right,
my
right.
lane. That, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to whoever. That's their lane. That's their lane. But I keep it real. You know what I'm saying, I talk about things I went through, things I'm going through currently, or if I'm going through a lot of shit and I ain't rapped in a while or wrote nothing in a while, that just make me put out some of my best music.
Absolutely,
I'm going
because
through so much
a lot of
personal
this
shit.
album served as a great inspiration for me. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because this hip hop stuff and just life
Yeah.
is a struggle, and you define that really well. And I want to take, because we're almost at the end of the show, so I gotta
Yeah.
obligatory. I have to Michael Eric Dyson some bars here, and throw some bars that you had though.
Told you he's gonna do
On the
that.
main event,
Told
though,
you
you
gonna do
had. I wanted to give you listeners an example. You might not hear it though, but of evident wordplay. I have MCs up here, and I really love the cleverness of this verse here. And it was
I ain't
like,
gonna lie. Before I mean to cut you
Yeah.
off. Shout out to everybody else on that track. Shout
Oh,
out
yeah,
to
yeah.
Shout out to Eddie Kane, John Jiggs, and Buck. 'Cause
Yeah, and
I knew. It's always friendly competition. It's always friendly competition because
And
I
I
know they all
expected
get
that
busy
you
and
would
vice
have a great
versa.
verse on that, because those
And I
guys
had to go first.
Are going
So I'm
crazy
like-
because I didn't mention John Jiggs, but John Jiggs though has been.
Yeah,
he's been
he been
dipping
doing-
into his prime for a while.
He's been another name on Long Island that a
his
lot of
latest
people don't really bring up like that.
That latest EP with the great artwork, I forgot what it was called. The
with DJ
revolving
Schwab? Revolvers with DJ
revolver.
Schwab.
Yeah. Oh man,
Fire.
that's my favorite work of his so far.
Fire.
That's my personal favorite, and I told him
Jig,
that.
shout out to you. I just
know?
linked up with him in ATL because he stay out there now.
Absolutely.
My family stay
And
out there. I met
you
met
had
with
these
him.
bars. You said, "What's big fish to some sharks? Niggas be speeding till you gotta put 'em in park. I'm just playing my part like a half moon." Now skip along. For the love of money, niggas will change like a quarter. I don't know. Can't trust them as far as I throw them. My arm bad. Just think about that for a minute. Rewind,
That's what I'm
check
saying,
that
they
out.
don't-
And there was cleverness throughout that whole verse. You know what I mean? And it still accentuates the persona. Sometimes a hardcore MC has the cleverness, and then it kind of doesn't come off hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And it just was dope. You know what I mean? And that song is one of my favorite because it did have that competition vibe.
If you
like
hear it,
everybody's
right?
like, "Oh, that's what you said. I'm gonna
And then
do this."
I'm
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really had that fun vibe and stuff like that, and it was just a great song. And then other songs, Full Court Press, we said, "You ain't an artist unless the picture's painted." Come on, that's just not fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just had cleverness throughout, and there's really no, that's just cleverness. Pure illness right there. You know what I mean? And I do got to give it up. You mentioned your father and stuff, and I just love the way you left that heartfelt ode at the end of the album.
that's why I left it at the
It
end.
was really beautiful. You know what I mean? I lost my old earth, my mom, a couple of years ago, and just anytime I hear songs like that, it resonates very deeply. You know what I'm saying? And that whole thing about, you tend to miss that one time in the hospital.
One time
I
you
know
don't
exactly
do something
I know
is
exactly
when
what
it
you're
goes
talking
bad.
about. You know what I'm saying? Like I lived through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just this is beautiful music. There's so much things going on. You know what I mean?
That song took me a while to write. I ain't gonna front for it to be so short. It took me a while because I had to really sit down.
Right, I would
even
imagine.
broke down
Right,
and stuff,
right.
you know what I'm saying? It was a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Crazy.
Absolutely. And like with the Full Court Press now coming, we was off air, we was outside the studio, and you were mentioning about that next project though. What can you say about that next project
Oh
that
yeah,
you
shout out to Standouts, A.C. Fort Worth, Texas. We about to drop that soon. I don't got a title yet. I don't have a
It's all in the
exact
works.
date, but it's definitely
Yeah,
it's definitely
yeah.
sometime January. I'm gonna say that. It's definitely sometime top of the first quarter. Legitimate. Like you know what I'm saying, it's basically done, but gotta do little tweaks here and there. But it's definitely about to drop.
By the way, in the 2 shows ago, I reviewed Rim's Algorithms album, and you happened to be on that too, and that was one of the dope songs.
Shout
on
out
there
to
too, so.
shout out to you and shout out to everybody who hollered at me and told me my verse was ill. Cause shout out to Rim too. That's a funny guy, man. That's my bro. But he had I had to get it back to him in a decent amount of time. And like I said, he's not no slouch. So when he sent me his verse first, I had to really sit there and listen to it a few times, let it marinate. Cause like I said, it's all with the whole Walker crew is friendly competition. So it's like we know we can't play with each other at all when we get on the track. So
I mean, me personally, I think Rim is already in a peak. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just stuff is just next level. Some of the stuff he's saying
Him,
and
you
doing.
gotta really listen because a lot of shit go over your head.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
punchline, he's, you know what I'm saying? That's why
he
I
doesn't.
like the Walkers.
He
It's
doesn't.
different.
You know, Rome was talking about this too to me. Like, Rome does this, and Narem does that too, and you do that as well here. Even though you inflect really good,
Yeah.
When you say a bar, you're not like saying like, "Hey, that's the bar," like you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
haha,
yeah,
you
yeah.
catch that,
That's
like,
it.
you know, like you let it go and go into the next one. You're not like putting a flash bulb on every bar. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so it lets you catch them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys do that, and then like that was the only bar.
And it's crazy
That
because
was the only bar.
not only because the Walkers, the collective group, like Kano, Rim, Rome, Ty, like these dudes are nice.
Oh, yeah, piece
like
of Ty
nice,
Farris.
and
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
crazy because I'll tell them like, yo, y'all nice, and they be like, yo, Spo, you nice, and it'll kind of fuck me up because I'm like, I was telling B,
Yeah.
because I'm like, these are dudes who are really, they really get busy,
Yeah.
and they really look at me how I look at them, and it's
that's
crazy.
That's real peace, and I definitely see all of you as like the future of what I call this invisible renaissance, whatever we name it. And as we close out this show, I named this decade the invisible renaissance. I was seeing certain MCs, I name them in the book, in 2012, and it was different than what I was doing in the 2000s. And I said, coupled with what's going on of the best of the 2000s, the Planet Asias, the Bronze Nazareth, all of them, and then leaking into this new generation, I said, this is going to be an invisible renaissance. And it started in New York, and it extended outwardly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it became exactly what it is, and it's becoming less invisible. And I hope that I can call it something else wonderful that isn't invisible and it becomes visible to everyone else. And with brothers like you, Spoda, MCing, having such a powerful debut, making music that means something to us. I thank you for that because it inspires me. And when I say I write art and art, the creative works that I write is based off the creativity that you brothers
And
make.
I appreciate you. I mean to cut you. What was I just telling you? What he's saying? He's like he's real. I was telling this is my right hand man. Like I was just saying in the car. Like he really is going to give me a breakdown that I've never even heard yet. But not only that, he don't just basically. I told him he don't skim through it. He listens. He
Absolutely,
don't just listen.
absolutely.
He don't just skim like the rest of y'all. Be like oh, like a lot of people. I ain't gonna lie. Like I know it's always gonna be like that. But it's like oh, Spoke. That's my man. Y'all probably fuck with me and be like, oh, I listen to his music, but do you really listen? Or like Hov said, that's probably one of the realest bars.
It's probably
ever.
one of the best
do
bars you ever
really
had.
Just
Yeah.
Listen or do you just skim through it?
Right. And that bar destroyed Eminem's verse. I don't care. That was what the whole thing was about.
And that's
you know
a
what I
whole
mean?
nother conversation.
But yeah. Anyway, just throwing that out there, and everybody knows I'm not a Jigga fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and I'm not a fan of the rhyming auctioneer. I don't like that shit either. That's silly shit. But with that said, I want to thank everyone that has ever read anything I've written, has listened to any show I've ever done with DJ Toshi.
Yeah.
The Power Right Show here, everyone here at S.STREET Media, our producer Sosa, G Math, I love you, brothers. This is my last shout out for the entire decade, the year. I want to thank Spoda. What a way to close out
Shout out to y'all,
the
man.
decade
I appreciate y'all,
with
man.
the future. With the future. You know what I mean?
What you call it? The invisible renaissance.
That's right.
I like that.
So until the next time, next year, there'll be a lot more stories to tell, writings to recite, and records to rewind and reminisce.
Yes, sir.
I'm your host, Sunni Allah. Skill Illustrated Low for everybody at S.STREET Media, my guest Spoda. And as always, I'm your host, Sunni Allah. And the Power Right Show is a never respect fake broadcast. Peace.
Peace.